Clouds are billowing with a blowing wind as enemies are near. How can I get warriors to guard the country? Goes a Chinese poem written by an ancient emperor. The Taiwan question is a major issue for both China and the world. In the summer of 2022, how will the Taiwan question develop has attracted global attention. Themed on reassessing the Taiwan card of the Western camp from closest visit, Global China has invited 31 scholars from home and abroad to share their views. In this episode, we are joined by Wang Hailiang, Director of Shanghai East Asia Institute. Taiwan Strait crisis undermines the international image of the United States. The United States is seriously ill to give rise to the crisis. Pelosi's so-called graduation trip was a self-willed move, which made a lot of trouble for the US government. In fact, it shows that the US system is flawed. The tripartite political system may be good domestically. However, it did not function well when it comes to dealing with foreign relations. Undeniably, such a chaotic move may damage the interests of its foreign policies. Pelosi's visit to Taiwan was not just a spur of the moment, but has been brewing for a very long time. The United States has to take full responsibility for the Taiwan Strait crisis this time. It can be imagined that the White House is now full of embarrassment and dissatisfaction. In order to maintain the so-called tripartite system, Washington cannot make thoughtless comments on Pelosi's move. Meanwhile, they have to protect her safety reluctantly. They also have to soothe and take precaution against Beijing. These all lead to a lose-lose situation. The alleged idealism is actually a narrow-minded, interest-driven pragmatism, which obviously lacks the overall view and strategic perspective. They have themselves to blame for the counterattack from China. The United States is unable to cope with the quasi-blockade. China's reaction to Pelosi's visit was more for defense than attack. However, such a large-scale siege of the Taiwan Islands surprised the US. The large scale of the drills, the great number of military weapons, and the meticulous planning are far beyond the expectations of the United States. This drill has double functions, both internally and externally. On one side, it has the function of besieging Taiwan. On the other hand, it means to refusing external interferences in the area. It signals a serious warning to the US government, declaring China's firm will to uphold sovereignty and territorial integrity. And we are determined and capable as well. The extension of the training time shows that the military evaluation is satisfactory and it is necessary to expand its effect. In this regard, the United States is not prepared, let alone powerless. The US can only make comment that China has overreacted, but is afraid to take confrontational action and even postponed its own long-range missile tests in hope of calming down the situation. How will the United States react in the face of the new normal? Obviously, the US side has made a big mistake accidentally. The tension in Taiwan Strait has changed dramatically. Also, the situation between China and the US has been reversed. To begin with, there will be no longer the midline of the Taiwan Straits. Secondly, the Taiwan Sea is basically under the firepower of the People's Liberation Army. Thirdly, the Dongfeng missiles have the ability to fly over the island, and the strike range will be as large as possible. This can be considered as the new normal of the Taiwan Straits. The US has exposed several weaknesses this time. Weak response to a major crisis, a lack of momentum in the military strategy and an equal weight adversary, a lack of support from its Asia-Pacific allies, and a lack of preparation to lose their lost marble in the Taiwan Strait. Objectively speaking, This shows the similarity of the Taiwan Strait game between China and the United States. China will create conditions to advance the unification process according to its own goals. The past U.S. strategy will be challenged and will be forced to adjust and repair to avoid greater setbacks and losses. It is somewhat surprising that fighting without breaking is now a basic choice for the U.S. Of course, it is unrealistic to expect the U.S. to abandon the cruise of the Taiwan Strait, its Taiwan aid, and their staying in the West Pacific. China and the United States will continue to fight and struggle until a new balance of power is reached. Wang Hailiang, Director of Shanghai East Asia Research Institute. Log in to www.haiwaikanshijiye.com, enter your email address at the bottom of the page, and click subscribe to receive all updates of the website on time.